Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 29th of 2024, and basically multiple divisions over at the Walt Disney Company are going through various setbacks and challenges and a lot of different troubles by Bob Iger, by the various Disney executives, everyone else involved in Bob Iger's cost containment plan wreaking havoc at the Walt Disney Company. And when you look at everything like Lucasfilm and in particular, many of the live action projects upcoming, one of which being Snow White 2025, in the midst of the ongoing backlash ever since the trailer dropped at D23, it has been a downward disaster for Bob Iger, for the rest that are working on this production, and more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, what's very revealing about the Snow White live-action remake is that not only is this a actual movie fully driven by the typical Disney agenda, the message, their ideology, if you will, focusing on ideology over art, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, all of that nonsense that really ruins any kind of product or IP or property out there and shifts the fans and the general public away from ever really considering to give it a shot. Now, what's interesting about this has a lot to do with the ongoing Snow White boycott and how Rachel Zegler is taking this behind the scenes and everything else going on with the marketing campaign related to the upcoming Snow White film, by the way, still due for release in the end of March of 2025. Now, on top of this here, what's very interesting has a lot more to do with the ongoing marketing campaign, the Snow White boycott, with many divisions at the Disney Company going through Bob Iger's cost containment plan. Many Disney executives recently fell into complete panic mode after the current status of the Snow White 25 film and its production disaster. Now, one major development now has more to do with Zegler and her overall reaction to the ongoing Snow White boycott from the general public and how it is growing by the numbers each and every week. One crucial update to this situation now involves how after Zegler was fired from all Disney projects after Snow White 25 and only connected to this production for now, Zegler recently blamed the marketing team behind the scenes as the main cause, get this, for the boycott related to Snow White. These argumentative conversations were reportedly brought up during multiple photo shoots that were done to create new posters for the film, banners, and more for the marketing campaign behind the scenes. In fact, the marketing campaign reportedly has been very problematic, where Zegler already had a remote meeting with the Disney executives, warning Disney that she is willing to drop out of many interviews planned solo style unless the boycott improves with the Snow White 25 film, as Disney prepares to hire a brand new marketing team as a last-ditch effort to improve the Snow White boycott to make that vanquish more, after the abandoned, of course, and fired previous team after the trailer backlash hit a record high for any Disney live-action project. Now, in addition to all of this, Zegler is also blaming the trailer company for why the Snow White boycott is getting worse by the week, with the blame game going on right now from Rachel against both the previous marketing team and the trailer company that put the footage and music together for D23. Already more drama is beginning to erupt for the Snow White movie, as reshoots are now on the horizon by Bob Iger and the executives, as they are pressuring those like Rachel and Gal to get involved in that process as soon as possible, as October of this year. What makes this entire situation worse, due to the Snow White boycott, is that Rachel Zegler reportedly had a heated exchange with the merchandise team related to the upcoming Snow White feature film, where the Disney heads are already in the process of canceling a full slate of merchandise for the movie, including figurines, clothing, and much more, as a response to the Snow White boycott, growing to a number that not even Disney can even hide at this point. This is essentially a repeat of what happened with The Acolyte, and why it may or may not be a worse scenario than that production by Disney. Now, guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, this is obviously, like I just said, a repeat of what happened with The Acolyte. We all saw what happened with that movie, or should I say with that show, with that overall project by Disney when the marketing team failed terribly. But look, it's not all about the marketing team, alright? It is just a flat-out terrible project by Disney, full of their ideology, their message, if you will. That, by the way, Bob Iger, he doesn't want to give it up. They are in the process of getting a new DEI manager that will get a $200,000+ salary a year to really kind of ramp up DEI. So all this nonsense that Bob Iger has been spewing in the past 6 months about, oh, Disney is not part of any kind of an agenda, it's all about quieting down the noise, it's all about shifting away from that message. It's all a trick to essentially keep the shareholders in line until the following year and until the year after that, rinse and repeat. That's what it's really all about. It's a real strategy by Bob Iger that he likes to play. So basically, what's going on right now is the overall photo shoots that are being done right now to elaborate on that. That, like I said before, is for the posters, for the movie theaters, for the actual digital posters online. It's for the banners that they're about to display in places like Times Square and stuff like that. That's what they're working on right now. And in the midst of doing that, there's a lot of backlash. There's a lot of backlash between different teams connected to Snow White 2025 behind closed doors. Now, to make matters worse, Disney is already preparing another emergency meeting related to this movie in particular and the boycott, as families are withdrawing from ever seeing this film once it arrives next year. And this is said to be bothering Zegler on a personal level, where the blame game that happened behind the scenes with her recent photo shoots had much to do with the blaming, of course, of the toxic side of Disney fans and the general public that don't understand DEI through her perspective. So she's all for DEI, she is all for what Disney is doing with this Snow White movie in particular. She wants more examples of this, and that's why we already talked about how movies out there like The Sword and the Stone, Hercules, and among others are going under massive changes right now. They want to shift away from the source material, they want to focus on race swapping and gender swapping and all that nonsense. And until there's enough pushback with Snow White once it does arrive, maybe and just maybe, only then will Disney have a change of heart. But I really have a very slim, amount of confidence in that even happening. But what's interesting about this is the fact that you have a lot of those that are falling out with Disney right now. I mean, you got people that are like Mark Webb, the director, who have zero confidence in this film anymore. That's why they are against basically reshoots. They don't want to even participate in additional reshoots. They know it's going to cost more money. They know it's going to make Disney dig a bigger hole than they're already in. It's not going to really create any kind of a remedy. In fact, if you really go forward with these reshoots again for the third time, yes, third round of reshoots, it would really cost, and we talked about this before, the margin that they're looking at right now is $10 to $15 million worth of reshoots. It's not a super big margin, but it is enough to topple on top of the $300+ million budget already. But overall, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about Snow White 25, the ongoing boycott, how this is really creating a big impact on Zegler and her overall view of things. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.